hot, hot. Look at everybody packed in here. Yeah, we're in Kuwait.
Everyone has an opinion on the Iraq War, but for the people who've served, it's more than just a topic of conversation. It's a life-altering experience. On the next episode of Filmmakers Corner, we'll screen the documentary In Service, Iraq to Pittsburgh. I talked to filmmaker Ralph Vituccio about his project.
It began 2.5 years ago. I was approached by Andrew Swenson, the director of Pittsburgh Filmmakers, asking me if I wanted to work with Jeff Carpenter of Bricolage Theater Company. He had applied for a grant to do a documentary or an interactive piece, an installation piece on local Pittsburghers who served in the Iraq War, hearing their voices. And I said, sure, I'd collaborate with them. And then there would be live performers, both real soldiers reading from their diaries and actors reading poetry from other sources. So it ran for about 2 weeks, and then a couple other places it showed. And then it was over. It was kind of very ephemeral. So I sat there and I had over 60 hours of footage. I probably only used a third of the footage that I had access to in the multimedia piece. So I thought, this is a shame. It was some really, really great stuff that the soldiers themselves had shot that I couldn't use. Or if I did use, I could only use little bits of it. So I decided to make a single channel piece with all the footage that hadn't been used. And over the last 2 years, that's what I've been working on. Part-time. Took 2 years to do part-time.
I guess everyone's pretty used to the idea that nobody leaves the house anymore without some sort of video camera. But the idea that these young men and women could be shot at any moment, and yet they had the presence of mind to be videotaping it is just so strange, but yet so normal.
It is normal. They are the YouTube generation. They really are. These soldiers over there. I read this fact, and it's hard to believe, but the average age over there is 18, 19-year-olds. I have a hard time believing that, but it seems to be that I've read that more than one or two places. So you think about that. They constantly are filming themselves, constantly taking pictures of themselves. I don't know if you have, I have teenage children, and they're constantly, doing that kind of stuff, putting themselves on YouTube. I mean, look at the viral videos on YouTube. Look at how ubiquitous it is.
My bed. All my goodies.
They are of that generation where they document everything.
Amanda Brown, it really is so bad over here.
That was just your mouth, by the way, here.
Was it?
Here, now.
I think what makes this stand out, though, is because they're constantly filming every single emotional reaction they have, every teeny tiny achievement in their lives. When there's something as big as a war, it makes it really as important as it should be.
Yes, and I don't know if it's true, but I'll offer my opinion. And I've never experienced war, so I really don't. I don't know the horror of it, really. I can hear the stories that people have told me, the interviews I've done in putting this piece together. And it is a horrible experience. I don't know if I can deal with it. A lot of these young people are accustomed to seeing this kind of war, this kind of footage on television, on video games. So when they go into it, they don't really realize what they're getting into until it happens. So in the meantime, they're videotaping still, it still hasn't affected them really until it's over.
I asked Ralph about the footage from the soldiers versus the work done by television journalists who were embedded with the troops. I don't even know if these kids know what an amazing job they're doing bringing the reality of this war to the people who are sitting in their living rooms they'd rather think about something else.
They don't. I don't think they do realize the consequences of their actions in a good way. In talking about being embedded, I think the photographers, the CNN journalist in this piece who was embedded in one of the units, her footage was clean because she was using a high-quality format and a high-quality camera. It was clean footage. It was sharp footage. But it was generic footage. It was B-roll footage. The footage that the soldiers themselves shot was down and gritty. It was down in trenches. It was combat. It was fighting. It was rough stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you're a 19-year-old girl, you're riding in a Humvee and it blows up in front of you. There's not censoring of your reactions. It's all right there.
It's all right there, and it's there. It's in the video. There's some images of that, IEDs exploding and them riding in a Humvee, and it's just like, whoa. It's incredible. I mean, it's like, you being on a camera and watching, just all of a sudden there's a bomb goes off, you know, what, 50 yards away from you, 20 yards away from you, and it's like, and people are there, and you freak out. You can hear it. You can hear that. You can hear it in the voices, the hysteria, the excitement, the adrenaline.
So tell me what the public reaction has been like for
Yeah, it's
in service.
The public reaction has been incredible. I've shown it once. It was at the Three Rivers Film Festival. One guy said it gave him chills. Another guy said it was pretty perfect. Another soldier, Iraq, said, I've never seen anything quite as realistic as this, at depicting our side, the soldiers, a voice. It gave a voice to the soldiers that they had never seen anywhere else. But I did have a person come up to me and say that wasn't so positive about it. And this individual thought that I didn't depict the Iraqis at all, and they felt that that was really a big mistake on my part, not really giving enough time to the Iraqi, to the people themselves. My answer to that was I didn't have that footage. This is what I had to work with. I didn't shoot it, I didn't plan it, I didn't script it. The footage I got was the footage I used. And my story basically was telling the story from the local perspective, local men and women who served in the Iraq War, which I think the stories that they tell are stories that can be told everywhere across this country.
ID. Check your secondaries, check your secondaries.